carrying on talking about attachment styles, I am so fed up of seeing so much misinformation online, especially on social media platforms. And this is me talking to someone who's actually taking the time to do a psychology degree, because I am passionate about things like that. I'm passionate about understanding the brain, the behaviour, also very much into trauma healing. And the information that is being put out on places like TikTok or other platforms by people who call themselves coaches, it's actually pretty horrifying for me to watch and listen to what they're saying and what they're telling people to do, and how to heal anxious attachment, on how to treat someone with so-called dismissive avoidant attachment, or just literally labeling people with these attachment styles. And yeah, I need to do a video about it. Not saying that people don't always know what they're talking about, but if it says coach in the description and they're selling you a course, then yeah, I think I've got the basis to critique what they're saying. So first of all, the biggest misconception is that these attachment styles are being labeled as a personality or a personality disorder. It is not. Attachment style is simply a trauma response. Okay, I'll say that again. Attachment style is a trauma response. And a trauma response from your childhood, how you've been brought up, what was your relationship with your caregivers. Attachment style isn't somebody deciding to be a dickhead and avoid you and dismiss you, or being a psychopath and chase you and ring you every 5 minutes and cry. That is not what it is. An attachment style is simply your nervous system response to how you were brought up. It is so unconscious. It is something that only with time, when you're an adult and someone tells you, hey, this is not healthy, or you notice that you are leaning anxious or you're leaning avoidant, then you can go and look and say, hang on a minute, is there something I can do about it? Why am I acting this way? Okay? So you don't go around labeling people and saying, he's an arsehole because he's dismissive avoidant. No, that person has been through trauma. They've grown up with adults who are supposed to be caregivers, not giving a crap about them, teaching them that love is not safe, being dismissive to their needs, right? They've had to fend for themselves. So to them, they've grown up having to look after themselves because it wasn't safe, right? That is a program they received. It doesn't make them a bad person. It's a programming. And with every programming, it can be unprogrammed. And then we're talking about anxious attachment, which is most women feel anxiously attached because they are trying to prove themselves to earn love. Because a lot of times growing up, their homes weren't stable. Again, this is because of the caregiver, how they were treated, how love was presented to them. Is it safe? Am I secure? Do I need to earn love? Or am I going to be ignored because my needs aren't met? So once again, this is not about demonizing anyone. This is actually a trauma regulation issue. So it is fight and flight, okay? You fight, you're anxious, so you're fighting for this thing or this person, or you flight, you try to run away. You're dismissive, you're avoidant. That's all it is. It's literally your state of survival. It is not your personality. And this is why I'm so sick of watching all these videos of people who have no training in any kind of mental health services and telling people what somebody is, what there isn't, how to treat it, how to act. You can't fix it in your head. You cannot. Yes, you may know you're anxiously attached. You may know you're dismissive, or you may know you're disorganized. But I don't do anything. It ain't going to help. Just knowing about it and listening to coaches telling you you need to do this, you need to do that. When your nervous system is not regulated, you're a walking disaster and you're just going to make things worse. It's that simple. So now I've had my rant. how do I actually deal with attachment issues, which are trauma response from a dysregulated nervous system and programming from early childhood. Okay, simple. You have to work on, and again, that is something, whilst you can do it on with yourself, the more you learn, you do really need to find people that can help you, that are qualified, not just got a certificate saying they're a coach, but are actually qualified in certain therapies, whether that's psychotherapy, whether that's counselling. And again, it's not a mind thing, so it's something you need to combine with somatic practices. It has to be body, mind, spirit. It's a whole issue of the whole person. And your nervous system, again, it is a nervous system issue. That's something you have to go back to reparent your inner child, because that's where the problem started. And on the point of nervous system, men and women, and I'm talking about biologically, we have different nervous systems, just like we have different hormones that are more dominant. Like women have oxytocin, men have vasopressin, testosterone, also oxytocin. We also have testosterone, and then we've got also estrogen, but these are all in different levels, so they affect us differently. Even our muscles are built differently. So that is another thing that you need to go to a practice that is specifically aimed at your biological gender. And this is really important because female nervous system and male nervous system are very, very different. What works for one will not work for the other. With me personally being a woman, biological female, I don't want to offend anyone. My nervous system requires oxytocin to feel safe. So oxytocin for us women is the bonding hormone, but it also calms down our nervous system. So for me, whilst being with people and receiving, let's say, physical affection, or, like being in a safe environment can help with production of oxytocin. However, the main thing is to learn how to teach your body and your nervous system to produce its own oxytocin, and that is not something you do overnight. Again, it's not a mind thing. It's not something you can logically do. You have to work with your body, okay? You have to learn how to give yourself what they call oxytocin baths. And I'm not going to go too deep on that because I'm not an expert. I'm learning psychology. I'm doing a degree in psychology, and I'm also a qualified Reiki practitioner. So I do incorporate spirituality into the mind and body. I like somatic practices. However, I can't teach you about oxytocin baths because I'm also in the process of learning about it. However, once I do learn, I will share what I find and the source of it, because that's really important. A lot of people say science says this, or there have been studies done about this, but there's no link, there's no references of who's done it, when done it, and there's a lot of misinformation out there on different studies, different ideas. It's completely bonkers, and it's amazing how much I can see that is being presented as a fact. It's actually just pack of bullshit. Again, I will be making more content on this, as I'm also in recovery from anxious attachment because of my nervous system dysregulation. And the more I learn in my studies, my studying psychology degree, I will also be sharing this because I want to put a bit of real information out there amongst the ton of misinformation that is widely available. So if this content is something that you find interesting, you want to know more, follow me, because I will be uploading more and more videos on this topic, as I'm incredibly passionate about bringing true information that is factually correct to people that is actually helpful. And thank you for watching.